Got it. Okay. So we left it last time that, we're pretty close on the money piece. I think we're a little over $5 million apart. And we heard from the board that there was this desire to have equal steps, where we've been trying to work at something that gives something equitable, right? Equal is not always equitable. Equitable is not always equal. The damage that's been done to the salary schedules over the years is difficult to fix all in one fell swoop, right? If we truly wanted equal steps, they'd all be the same from 0 to 25. And we worked over the weekend looking at what would that actually look like, and it's well over $120 million if we do them all. And we looked at some different models to try to get into a range that we believe is doable. Although we believe our first proposal at the $89 million mark was within the range that's been budgeted. We understand some of that uncertainty created by the legislature. So what we did is we went back and we have come up with a proposal to try to take in consideration equity in money that employees get, as well as this kind of trying to get to a point where steps are equal. We know they're not all. There's going to be some of those first few steps that are a little bit less. And when we were looking at this, some of the original models that we ran would actually accelerate those steps as you move up the scale, because if we're truly looking at trying to do something that addresses cost of living and those percentages, then it wouldn't be not every employee would get the same. As you move up, those percentages equate to a little bit higher raises. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pass out the proposal and we'll walk through it.
Sounds good.
Here's a stack. If you need more, let me know.
Thank you. All right.
Just make sure I have my copy.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, if we have any extra time.
Yep, there's an extra one. I'll keep it for
Here's
food.
it. Thank you. Perfect.
I got a bunch of extras here.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just, to kind of save us time, the first 2 pages, there's no changes from our last proposal. I think what we're really getting into now is just, we need to fall somewhere on the salary schedules, and then, some of the other things we can work out. So what we've done here on the 3rd page is the 10-month scale. And I've tried to take kind of a combination of what we've gathered through this session. We've got the employee counts, the years of experience. The increase would be the amount that's going to be added to the current salary, which equates to an hourly rate, and then the proposed annual rate. And then in that middle column, you can see the increments, or those would be the steps. So you can see what we've done is we've got 250, just as we had kind of been working at. We've got a couple steps there at 275, which then accelerates us to 1,335, all the way through step 19. And then the steps accelerate to 1,350. And then a few higher at the top. By doing this, it did adjust some of those amounts lower. And this moved from our last proposal by $657,000. We have those non-recurring bonus. That concept is all the way to the right. That's there. Should the board, if we're still going to entertain that kind of concept, but most of the steps adjusted. So the second, or I guess 4th page, would be the 12 months salary schedule. I kind of took the concept that you all had where it was a little bit higher, maybe $50 to $150 per increment or per step there. The same concept. And then the student services scales are all the same from before. So what this account amounts to is $31.7 million for the 10-month. Based on the employee counts, 222,862 for the 12-month. And the student services, 6.3. Our last proposal was in the $42 million range. So we've adjusted by 3.7. And I just want to kind of review.
Wasn't the last one at 39.7?
I think that was just the teachers. This puts us at 38.3.
Okay, 38.3.
Yeah, I think when, let me see if I have a copy of what we gave last time.
And the health pro, this is the same
Yep.
proposed health pro, so that
Yeah.
was 6.9 million, correct?
6.9 or 6.3.
No, that ours was
6
6.3, yours was
Then it's
6.9, I
6.9.
believe.
So, you know, we've from where we started and from where the board has started, we've adjusted by $50 million at least. And we've adjusted, given concessions to lower our proposal. The board has come up with money to the table and has come up about 6.6 million from the original 27.4. I know that there's been a lot of statements about how we don't want to agree, or we don't want to put the district or the budget in a deficit situation by agreeing to some proposal that can't be afforded, even though we've been told through presentations from the CFO that there is already a deficit budget that's been passed. But at the same time, there's money in the budget that is above and beyond what was spent last year. And when asked, we were told that, yeah, that money can be spent. So there's a lot of confusing information that our team feels is being presented. We do not believe that this proposal will bankrupt the district. And we believe that for a lot of reasons that we've already presented. The main reason is that the general fund has more money budgeted than there was spent last year. This budget was approved by the board to the public and submitted to the DOE. Within the entire budget, there's 238 million above what was spent last year. And over the last 5 years, one of the biggest increases in expenditures was 81 million, but expenditures have decreased. Even in the district proposal that we've gotten the last couple times, when we see the employee counts based on the, I don't know, few months ago or a few weeks ago, those employee numbers are not, they don't stay the same. They drop, and we know that people are coming and leaving constantly. So there are lapsed salaries. There are numbers that are budgeted for salaries that will not be spent this year. We know there are well over 400 vacancies in instructional alone. And while federal rescue funds supplant that spending in the budget, the FEFP has continued to increase. Base student allocation money per student funding has increased. And over the last several years, money has not been put into the scale. We've used the TSIA money when the legislature was clear that there's additional money in the FEFP for salary increases. We know that the board and your team have presented concerns about family empowerment and House Bill 1. There's a lot of unknowns around that, so we would have to see that data to compare. And the bill that has passed universal vouchers, this is a statewide policy issue, and the legislature has been clear that that's not money that the board has to pull from their general fund or from their reserves to pay for. It's a pass-through. So this is where we're at. We believe that this kind of solves both problems. It comes down from our last proposal. And because I believe our last proposal, when I calculated it the way that you were doing it based on, which would be the step and the increment. Gotta find my documents. Yeah. We were at 32.3 for the 10 month, and this comes down to 31.7.
Yeah, I think, obviously we're gonna take this and look at it, but I think it can't be ignored that as we increase salary schedules, which is something we all agree we need to do, or we wouldn't have brought the proposal that we've brought, we have to be aware of where it goes after that. We've been in the past, had times when it was a challenge to give a level increase at a cost of $12 million. And now we're looking at something that will be at least upward of $20 million. That is something that's recurring. That's a concern, obviously, based on, the budget. Also, I think we have to also remember that the FEFP, while it may have been increased, there are categoricals that were rolled into that. So some of that, there is some smoke and mirrors involved with it.
Well, and to be clear, we know the base student allocation due to the categoricals increased by over 800, but the per student funding increased, I think, 320, or I can't remember, I may be getting my numbers mixed up, but it's either 230 or 320. So while the base student allocation, yeah, that is the smoke and mirror, the per student funding, that did increase.
Right.
And by rolling them in there, what the legislature did was allow those categoricals to be more flexible. Where before the categoricals were earmarked that you can only spend it here. And this is something that we look at a lot in district budgets,
Right.
where there is materials and supplies, for example, categorical funding set aside for materials and supplies that then is not able to be spent. But now that there are some changes, it's more flexible, because what districts end up having to do is use their general fund to supplant certain materials and supplies. And there's always this question, well, why aren't we going either way?
Right.
So while I understand the base student allocation is larger, the per student funding,
Right.
usually it's backwards. The base student allocation is smaller.
Well, and like we've mentioned here before, the amount that has been allocated to our district, taking out charters, for teacher salary increases is $15 million this year. And the proposal that we have brought is 32 million, which is more than double what the state has allocated to us. So I know we feel that we're close. So we're going to, but when we feel that we're stretching ourselves to the limits of what is able to be afforded, every little bit matters.
Right.
So.
And you sound that is the same sentiment that our employees and the people that we represent tell us every day. And I think it was one of the last school board meetings we were at when we're talking about 15 and 20% increases to contracts. The top contract in the district that should increase is our employees' contract. So we know that the board is having to adjust for those costs, and they have to do it now for our employees.
Understood.
So I hope that the board will seriously consider where we're at. We're trying to make gains. We're trying to adjust to where we think that, where we believe and know that the board can afford it. And so I don't think that the decision now is whether it can or can't, it's whether we are or we aren't. Is the board going to agree to spend what they know they have, or are they going to choose not to? So.
Well, and I don't think it can be forgotten that, like I said, we have our offer is more than double what has been allocated. So we're going to take this, we're going to caucus, and we will come back and see what we can do. Okay. All right. So obviously it never takes 30, when we think it's going to be 30 minutes, it never takes that long. So it takes a lot of work to try to see what we can all do, and I know you guys understand that. I didn't make 40 copies of this because we keep just changing little pieces of it, so I just wanted to give it to you guys on your side of the table. Maybe people can share, and I'll read it out loud what the difference is. Here. Yeah, all right, thank you. Yeah. Yes, we have extra. What is the ESCs? All right, so the only thing different on here, because I know we're, this is different than the last version that we had passed across the table, is when we look at number, I think our numbers are in different spots than
It
yours,
might
but
be.
yeah.
I think 4 and 5.
4 and 5 keep
four
flipping
and
around.
something.
Right. So number 5. So ultimately, and I
This is
know we
your
talked
number
about
5.
this last time, our number 5,
Second.
which I think is your number 4.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we know there's some conversation about who should be included in the
Right.
ESE
Yes, I just got
bonus, for lack of a better
flagged
word.
down about that before we came in,
Yeah.
so.
And we had talked about the fact that this is who we had budgeted. We had budgeted, when we came with our initial $3.4 million, which is substantial. VE teachers, behavior support, pre-K ESE, and I'm access. You know, that's how it had been budgeted. So what we were coming with number 5, we want you to determine who should be included in that.
Okay.
Okay. But obviously, the more people included, then the less the bonus is. So we just put effective July 1st, 2023, ESE instructional staff who case manage primary exceptionalities for students for the entirety of the school year will receive a one-time supplement not to exceed a total of $3.4 million for all eligible employees. Eligible employees must be current active employees at the time of payment. I know that there's approximately 200 over 200 SLPs. There's approximately 166 ESE specialists. But I think then there's OTPT, then there's this, that, you know, I want y'all to kind of decide who you think should be a part of that. But that's what we had kind of set aside for that amount. Okay, so that's the only thing different on here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go instructional. And what I brought right now is just the EP. Okay. Because everything branches off of that, right? Oh, did I not want? Oh, sorry. Can you pass them back this way, Susie, when you're done? And this is super challenging because we all want the same thing. Obviously, we view the budget different than you do. We don't think there's the flexibility and the money there that, you know, that you do. But we also acknowledge that we want to be able to pay our employees. So obviously when we came last time, October 2nd, we had that you had brought a proposal for Health Pro and Instructional at a cost of $39.7 million. You said something a little different this morning,
I
but
think what I had for instructional for the 10-month, 12-month and student services was at a total of 42.
Okay.
So I think the teacher, which you had, I was in line with what you had on at the 30. Oh boy, let me see here. In your documents. Nope, not that one.
I know there's so many.
This one where you had done the breakdown, you had the instructional at 32.3. So, and then the SLPs at the 6.9 or we were there, and then the 12 months. Yeah,
which was only 2. Yeah. So we had it at 39.7-ish. And then obviously your new proposal is at 38.6. Our proposal before was 28 million for instructional, 6.3 million for our Health Pro schedule at a cost of $34 million. What we're bringing, and this is difficult because we do not want to create a situation where we can't afford this salary schedule moving forward. And we have that concern. I'm gonna put that out there, okay? So looking at what we did here, we appreciate what you brought back, because I think that was, you listened, you heard what we had to say, all those things. So, and we're not against that. It's just all about what that bottom line total is. So this here, going up by $1,325 per step, ends up that the top level would be at $72,025. You can see over to the right what the salary increase would be for our employees. For example, our employees that are E23 moving to E25 would be at $4,025 increase to their recurring salary. We all know that they've been at the top and they haven't been receiving recurring salaries. They've been receiving one-time bonuses. So this would be a recurring, obviously, salary increase for them. And that's almost 1,900 employees that are 1,600 to 1,900 between that level 24 and 25. So that's significant. This would be at a cost of an additional 2.2 million. We know, and you know, because when you work through the salary schedules, it adds up quickly, right? When you start going up different increments, it accelerates, it compounds as you go up, what the increase is for everybody. So that is what we are bringing there. And then we would want to, obviously, wherever we land, we want to mirror the 12-month schedule, and the Schedule P is always $1 more. So those all align to each other, okay? So looking at that, then the other thing we wanted to look at is the Health Pro schedule. It is. Thank you. For y'all.
I think you already have it.
When
For
you,
you.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna ask a clarifying question while we're passing things out. When you said the 2.2, that's in addition to what?
To the 28.
To the, your proposal last time for the 10-month was 27.1?
Well, we must have different numbers of employees than you do. So I'll
This
also look
is-
at that.
On your
Mhm.
document.
We're keeping it, doing real time. Let me see which one.
That makes
Is this counting 12 months too?
That's what you gave us.
No, I know. Is this counting 12 months as
Well, I
well?
think it's your document. So down below, the 10-month are on the top and the 12-month are on the bottom. So that's
Okay.
what I'm asking is if,
Mhm. This is EP, this is,
so I'm just asking, is the
GQ.
2.2 for both 10 and 12-month, or is it just for the 10-month, that 2.2?
just 10, just the
Okay.
10 month. Yeah.
So that would be the 27.1 plus the 2.2. And then whatever we end up with.
All right. We did, but it might have been a different version because we are doing real-time employees. Our finance team is doing it real-time employees in there, so I'd have to see which, but
Well, and
I
that's
understand.
tough, because then that makes it tough for us to be able
I
to.
understand. That makes sense there.
This is the
Go
one
with that,
okay,
go
I
with
just
that,
wanna
and
make
then
sure.
add the 2.2. We're not trying to do anything wonky.
Yeah, 27 point plus, there was like 100, like
Mhm.
99.
Yep, so that would be 29.3,
Just added 2.2 for construction. Okay.
correct. Yep,
Just wanna make sure.
yep, no, easier if we're doing apples to apples, absolutely.
All right.
All right, all right, so this is the Health Pro salary schedule. This is the current proposal that we had passed across the table previously. What we had looked at previously and what had been kind of asked, what does the raise look like for each of our student services personnel? So if you look here, this is the 205-day. Obviously, we also have a 198-day version as well. And it's got some similar, raises going down the right column. What we did here is these raises, meaning this is what a 205-day employee, let's say, which right now our 205-day employees that are on the instructional schedule are the social workers and the school counselors, right? So those employees, this is them, this is that specific group moving to the Health Pro / student services schedule. Now, what is backed out here is the advanced degree supplement, because really when you do the math on this, for example, if you look at EOO to EO1, when you looked at what that difference was, it was $4,330.12, but I backed out the supplement because we know that they are all eligible for the $1,000 master supplement. So this is what the raises are for these employees, which is significant. And this is at a cost of 6.3 million.
I just want to ask a clarifying question
Yeah.
too. So when you backed out the supplement, because once they move to this scale, they'll no longer be correct. I just want to
That
make
is
sure.
correct. That is correct. So when you go on to the Health Pro schedule, you no longer get the advanced degree supplement because it's already a part of your salary schedule.
Got it.
So yes, so that's why I backed it out, because I didn't want to mislead what the raise was and say that it's $4,000 when you're looking annual to annual,
Right.
because you were going to get a $1,000 supplement. So I backed that out.
Understood.
And then same thing with this specialist degree, I backed out 2,000, and with the doctorate degree, backed out the 3,000. Okay. All right. So with this, doing my new math, going by 29.3 million and 6.3. Help me with my math.
You said 29.3?
Because you said we were 27.1 on that sheet,
Yep.
plus 2.2 is 29.3, plus 6.3 million is at a cost of 35.6 million. Correct? Check my math. Got the English teacher next door, former English teacher,
I
checking my
used my
math.
calculator.
Yeah. Which is always helpful, always helpful. So we know that there were some, we look at this in addition to the non-recurring bonuses, if you want to call them, that are on here, which includes the one-time $500 supplement for all of the social workers, SLPs, mental health clinicians, behavior analysts. That's at a cost of approximately $600,000. You have the $3.4 million non-recurring for all ESE staff. And then, of course, the National Board Certified Teachers one time, which is at a cost of approximately $110,000.
And then the longevity for the 52 people at the top.
Correct,
What
at
was-
$2,500.
How much did that come out to? I think I have it written down somewhere.
Not that. Commas are important. Thank you. Yep. 130,000.
And there's no more interest in doing the non-recurring bonus to make up for the difference from our proposal last time.
No, and the reason why would be that we know that when we're adding on this $2.2 million recurring, that is a recurring cost that will carry with us. So those non-recurring payments, we're going to need some of those funds to be able to, carry this on in the future.
All right. I don't think that I have any questions unless. All right, so we'll caucus, we'll take 30 minutes as well, and we'll let you know.
All right.
All right, so we appreciate that the board is not like we're making gains, and this is important. I think some of the things that we had to review with this team have to do with the student services. While there are significant increases by moving those employees, it's much needed. There has been that scale alone in our research has only increased by 2.4% in the last 10 years. We feel very strongly about that scale remaining the same. So we're going to stick there too. There's a lot of discussion here, the difference between the 10 to 12 month. We know that there's a large hourly rate difference depending on where you are on the scale. We did attempt to try to adjust that this year, which was at a cost, which we have conceded on. And we're at this point now where we're just maintaining the same hourly rate difference where it's currently at. While we understand, look, we don't want to put the district in a position to go bankrupt either. I mean, that would be nonsense, right? That would be bad for employees. That would not be bargaining in good faith, all of those things. And again, from day one, the position of HCTA has been based in the budget. And again, opinions, whatever. I mean, this is the budget that is presented to the public. It's the annual financial report presented to the public over the years. We feel very strongly that where we started was doable, and we have, while the board has come up, we've come down a lot. So here's some things that in the first document, we didn't change our order, but the hour number 4 is your number 5.
Got it.
The only thing that we changed a little bit of the language here. We're understanding that we need to define who these people are. And I think previously we had some language that we would determine this in an MOU. We think that it really needs to be, so we would like to at least be able to say that we will determine it and then have that in MOU. We had some eagle eyes that understood that the last session, the proposal for the amount for the one-time supplement was 3.5 million and not 3.4. So we've made an adjustment there. So that's the only adjustment in that document.
Okay.
The salary schedules, I believe we're very, very close. We know that we're about what, $10 apart on some of those steps. What we've done is we've adjusted from our original proposal this evening. We adjusted steps 20, 21, and 22 down to the 1,335. There's rationale for why we want those last few steps to kind of accelerate. And this has to do with percentage. If we're doing true percentages, then we would like to see those steps reflecting that. When they are all 100% equal, when you get that 1,300 or 1,335 as a 25-year employee versus a 10-year employee, that percentage is different. We know this year it would be, the percentages are off, but no matter which way we do it, we're not going to get completely equal raises. So we're trying the best we can to be as equitable as possible, even though they've now kind of, the bottom line employee raises have all kind of remained the same. There is also rationale for the 1,335 that for years, the employee salary scale has not necessarily increased. The year after year, my understanding is the last few years, we've just been trying to get steps. The only money that was added to the scale in the last few years was that TSIA money, which created this crazy compression. And my understanding is maybe 2018-19, there were some increases to the scale, which raised that top salary from 66 to 68. So there is some rationale there that those steps over the last however many years when the scale was banded to then trying to move away from the band, there was always this expectation that over a 3-year period you could get $4,000. So there's some reasons why we're in that 1,335 range. So we've adjusted, and we've also attached a 12-month schedule. So those same 3 steps would adjust the 20, 21, and 22 down from 1,500 to 1,485. And the reason I just want to make a note, the reason I have the 15, 18, and 21 highlighted in a different color is because those were ones that had kind of some issues in the prior. They've become kind of a spot that we want to keep an eye on and make sure that those numbers are not going backwards. So there's actually money being added to those particular salaries, not going backwards. So we've come down a little bit, and this is, it's tough because the team is mad at me. When we came today, we're trying to, like I said, get to a point where we believe that our employees will get something that's meaningful. As we've talked about, everything's going up. So today, when I came in to make this is a concession from where we really believe that the district could pay. This is really where our team believes that this is what it's got to be. This will ratify. This will have an impact on employees. It is not enough. It's not. We all know that, right? If we could have unlimited money, we would fix the scales completely. This is what it's got to be. Any more concessions from where we've started in this session to where we are now is just, it's frustrating. It is the morale in the room, the morale across the district is going to be impacted. I think that this agreement is a major win in regards to what we've been dealing with the last 3 years. of just trying to fight for a step. This is meaningful money in people's pockets, even though it could be more. We're doing something for veterans that hasn't been done for a while, but we know there's still work to be done, right? And we know that even if we equalize all those steps at step one, that's unreasonable. We know we can't do that right now. I don't know how else I can convey the team I have behind me, how they feel and how employees feel across this district. When we were talking earlier about how we're running this off real-time numbers, I mean, even from one of the original documents to now, those numbers are dropping. And while we understand that it's important that we have to recruit, we have to retain who we have now. And they're looking to other counties. They're giving up and they're leaving because they see, oh, look, Pinellas just got 4.5%. This district over here, they get an extra 5,000 on their salary because they have a referendum. We can't lose anyone else. We have a lot of discussion at this table when we talk about language, when we talk about students and student safety. And one of the things that is being greatly impacted is our teachers in the classroom, our paras, everyone who works in the schools, being impacted by that. There's more on them. And because we have to watch all those kids and we've got to get more people here, but we can't lose anyone else. So I don't know how much more I can express to you that this is what it's got to be. We are not putting the district in a place to put, you know, anyone in bankruptcy. There is more work to be done, but that's, I don't know, that's, if there's anything else President would like to say, but that's where we're at.
Well, and you're sharing, you know, the resources that other counties have, and other counties do have resources that we do not have.
Yep.
And obviously we do know that there would be work ahead of us in order to look towards a millage and those things that are needed for us to be able to be competitive.
Yeah.
But we can only make an offer based on the resources we have now, not on the resources that we hope to have.
Mm-hmm. All right. And this proposal is based on all the data and information that we have now. So that's what I'll leave at.
Team, do you have any questions? No? No questions? All right.
You have an extra one of these that I could capture. By chance. That was it. Okay, I'll make a copy then. 30. Okay. Yes. No, 30.
Just a few updates on, this was what you passed across just a little bit ago. So just wanted to look at, so number 4,
Our number 4 or your number 4?
Your number
Okay.
4, your number 4. So the 3.5 million,
Yep.
that is fine. We had our numbers, it was like 3.44.
Right,
Yeah, so
that's
that's
fine.
where that came from. Then in number 5, just some clarity, because it will be a one-time payment, that it would not be credited towards FRS. So that would need to come out. And then same thing in number 6. Number 6, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th line down.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So everything else looks good there.
Right.
So, all right. I know.
Closer every time.
Process. All right. So we have some concerns about the health pro schedule. Our finance team costed it out as well, and we're different. So, you know, we are proposing that the 6.3 million proposal that we passed across for the 205 day, as well as I did bring the 198 day as well. We believe this is a fair proposal. We understand that, especially the employees that have been on the health pro schedule, that's where that 2%, you know, they have not moved. The health pro schedule hasn't moved. We understand that. And we know this is just the start of something positive for our student services employees. But we are obviously moving over 800 employees that are currently on the instructional salary schedule to this health pro schedule. And it is a significant raise in the short term. And obviously we know that there's still ways to go with those areas, but we feel that this percentage is something that we can sustain, and that this is what we are proposing that we stick with here. The instructional, We appreciate the work that you've done to try to make it a little more consistent between steps. And, you know, it was a cost of 31 point, let me make sure I have my right numbers here, $31.8 million, correct, with the EGPQ. Okay. And we are in agreement for your instructional salary schedule. Okay.
Thank you.
So you are welcome.
Thank you to the board.
So we are asking that you work with us as well to look at what we've brought as a whole.
Yeah.
It is significant.
Yeah.
And it is more than we've brought in a long time. And we recognize what all of our employees do and the hard work they put in, but we need additional resources in this county.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to partner with you and with our employees to be able to get that done.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So can you give me like 15 minutes on the student services? I think, because I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you to you and your team and finance and the board for working on this. I think this is meaningful on the instructional scales. It's long overdue. I think we're really close on the student services. Like I was going through step by step, and it's just, I think on this particular scale, because of things that have been the way it was built in the past. So we've got a team that's kind of working on it. So just give us 15 minutes and we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gonna turn mine on.
Okay, so
All right.
I'm gonna pass this over. We were trying to scramble. Kudos to my team who was helping kind of look at this. Thank you enough there. And we still might need a little bit of like teamwork on this to kind of see where we land as far as getting
This
this
is just the 198.
Yeah, which
Okay.
would be the same as the 205.
Yep, just wanna make sure.
So I'll walk you through what we kind of did, and you can, my pen now. I lost. Okay. So what we were kind of looking at was improvements from the health pro, but also making sure that there's no loss of pay from the instructional salary we just agreed upon. And a lot of it does have to do with, okay, if you're moving to the scale and you're losing $1,000 that you would have been making on the instructional, looking at that. So we tried to find a compromise between your proposal and ours. And like I said, we can see what we can do. We moved step 0 from your proposed $31.8503 to 32 even. This way no one realizes less there. Steps 1 through 5 are your proposal. Steps 6 through 14 is ours. Steps, let's see, I'm making notes here. Steps 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are yours.
Say it again.
15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 are what you just proposed. Or what, your proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And then 20 through 25 is ours. So I'll go through that again. Step 0.
Thank you.
Step 0 is HCTA. We did adjust. I think ours was at 32,0081. We just made it an even 32. We have the board's proposal, HCPS steps 1 through 5. HCTA steps 6 through 14. HCPS steps 15 through 19. And HCTA step 20 through 25. Now, what we can do, I know this is probably going to take some math calculating to look at this, but we were trying to find a balance because I don't think we were that far off on most of the scale. And I know this, again, like I said earlier, we don't want anyone to go backwards.
Is there an example of what levels would be going backwards? Because that's not.
So when we looked at
that.
the ones where we were looking at, we kept with our HCTA, we were trying to look at, would they be making less by losing the $1,000 on the instructional scale and moving to this one, and there was a little bit of loss of hourly rate.
On your instructional scale, on our,
Yeah.
because we've agreed to
Yeah.
it, right? So on
Yes,
our
yes,
instructional
yes.
scale.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
On the new scale.
so
On the
this
new
was,
scale.
we're trying to find a compromise here and shave off a little bit, you know, because that was the thing I know we were looking at. It's like, how are we, for the most part, this scale is like only like pennies within some of these steps, and then others, it's a lot. So
Okay.
that's where we're at. We're trying to get there, and I think we can, but
Okay. Okay.
I don't really have a good gauge on how much we just shaved off, but I think that's what we can, in a little break here,
Mhm.
I'll enter it into mine, and because I was doing this just kind of on our nice one to print.
Mhm.
And I know
And
maybe
just
that
to
doesn't help.
manage expectations.
Yep.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
Mhm.
We're kind of where we can be,
Okay,
okay, with recurring.
got it.
So, and we've come a long way.
Yes.
We've
Yep.
come a very long way.
Mhm.
And we've put, we've agreed to your instructional
Yep.
proposal.
Yep.
I think that's something to be celebrated.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's not more recurring that's going to be able to go here.
Right. And that's what we're trying to get to a point, because I don't think we were that far off.
We're not.
But there's like just a few where if there's a lot, like a loss in that hourly rate, that's where we're working on. So
Right,
maybe
but-
we need a little more time, but I just want you to show we're trying to get
Understood.
there. We're trying to get close, because I think you and I and some others
Mhm.
have talked, like, what is it that we're so far off on it? It's probably a couple steps, but
Because this is 16 levels out of the 25,
mhm,
that would be increased.
mhm.
And I'm just,
Okay. Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll work on it some more.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Hoping
All
they
right.
are.
So we're super excited that we're settled on the 10 to 12 months. I'll give you a copy of this. We took, so you'll see a couple things. Thank you for giving us the time to kind of work through some things. Yeah. All right. So we are prepared to accept the student services schedule as is, with one item we hope we can make work, because we know that there are some concerns about some of the top steps and the way that hourly rate looks on the 10-month, and that transition with loss of the master's or the advanced degree payments. So when you look at number 3, and I've got some extra, I only made 2 for you and 2 for us. When you look at number 3 in the second bullet point, so first bullet point, all our student services will move to the new student services schedule. And then the second bullet point, what we're proposing is that the employees who are advanced levels 20 through 20, actually that should be 25.
Got it.
Already made a 20 through 25 of the student services salary schedule receive a one-time $1,000 stipend. We recognize that there's some effort, that there's work that needs to be done across all the scales. We know that's been a common theme in our discussions tonight, and we think that this is something that will help address that hourly rate difference, and then we can try to come to it in the future and work on it.
Okay.
So sorry for my typo there, but that should be 25. We then on number 4, where we had one-time supplement with the FRS, we took that out.
Okay.
And same with number 5 on the $1,000 national board certified, we took out the FRS. I think we took it out in the number 6
Number
too,
6
for the
as well.
500.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect.
So other than that, and we just put a little note here,
Mhm.
one-time payment for those 25 on yours, and then everything else the same.
And what is your estimation on how many employees that is?
We estimate that's about 309, 310 employees. So that'd be about $300,000 in non-recurring money.
Team, anybody have any questions? Anything else you think we need to discuss? That was it, right?
I think that's it. So let's just review.
Let's review.
So we've come a long way, and I just want to say it's a huge kudos to both teams and the late nights and the going back and forth and working with each other to try to look at numbers and did we miss something here and really counting every penny to the best we can in a $4 billion budget. It's hard to count all those pennies.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at an agreement that would be effective July 1 for all instructional salary schedules. So this would be a retro agreement back to July 1st. So all employees will advance their step. We will move student services to the new student services schedule. Those 20 through 25 will get the $1,000 stipend on the student services. Those who are at EGPQ with 24 years of experience will advance to step 24. Those employees on EGP and Q with 25 years of experience will advance to 25. There'll be a longevity stipend of 2,500 credit. That one will be credited towards FRS for
That is
those
correct.
instructional employees on the top of the A and B respectively. We are also agreeing to an ESC in MOU for those instructional staff. And we'll work together to identify who those folks are. I know we've been working on what
Yeah.
last year looked like for the amount of 3.5 million. We are agreeing to the National Board Certified payment of the one-time $1,000 payment. And then our student services will receive the additional supplement negotiated. We'll negotiate that each year. But for the licensed school psychologists, licensed school social workers, licensed SLP with CCCs, licensed mental health counselors, and certified behavior analysts will be paid the one-time $500 supplement. And they have had to have worked half plus a day of the 2022-23 school year.
Yep.
And the board agrees to pay the full cost of the employee-only health insurance premium for the designated health plan. And the board will pay for the cost of fingerprint monitoring fees. And we have come to agreement on what we landed on with the 10-month, with the 12-month, and then the student services.
I think we have an agreement.
Yeah. Right, let's sign it. So we fixed our 25.
Thank you, everyone, for all of your work.
This one. I'm gonna TA these.
Yep. Thank you. And bring it home.
Of course not.
Oh, the math person, that's the math person.
Here you go, here you go.
You didn't even get here, huh?
No, I
She just always put her pencil for everything.
And then the student services schedule I just passed you.
Yes.
So we can TA that. So this is.
Did you only give me the one? Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
She keeps me straight. Good. all right,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
this
I have
one.
another job. as
Yeah.
secretary when this is over.
Thank you.
Do you have a clean one of these? I think I handed you my clean, or no.
I mean, I do somewhere.
You could just TA that one then.
And we're gonna get copies of this, all right?
We'll have to use your copy
Yeah,
machine.
yep.
This one.
And
So did I hand you this one?
you did.
Oh, she
She
did
did,
here.
and she even put a little note on it that said for the top 6. Check under there. There it goes, right there.
I found it, I
So
found it.
This is
20.
it. That's the clean copy, that's the
Marissa's
first
gonna
copy.
get the job of materials.
I got
And then
it.
we took the 198, we'll write it on there too.
Yeah. I didn't have one. I just had.
No,
the
that's
25.
okay. We'll make them look pretty. Running this copy.
25.
Perfect. 198. It's a 205. Got it.
And then you see the 253.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I don't have a 253.
Don't even want to do that one.
You'll make copies of all those?
Yes.
or-
Make sure I have everything. Yep,
Alrighty.
I'll make copies.
Is it okay if I ask if someone could take a picture of the negotiating team? just
Sure.
to memorialize?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Rich Grady. Never knew retirement would be so fun. Oh, we're sitting, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Big smile, just settle.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
Thank you. A tired so many miles.